PYQs are definitely very important in this. So I did most of the PYQs like twice and
Hmm.
analyzed them properly. In the interview, I think the first and foremost thing which you have to do correctly is the DAF filling session, because
Hmm.
that decides the course of our interview. So, sir, if
Actually.
that goes wrong, then there's a high probability that we may mess up our interview. These two things are done properly,
Hmm.
then the person they get a lot of idea about what UPSC is all about, because there is this mindset that UPSC asks everything and anything under the sun. But sir, that is actually not true.
Hello and welcome everyone. Today we have with us Vaishnavi, who secured AIR 298 in Civil Services Exam 2025. And this is Vaishnavi's second attempt and first time that she cleared prelims. So first and foremost, congratulations Vaishnavi on your achievement. How are you feeling?
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Sir, it is a very surreal feeling for me, and I'm like really happy. And everyone around me, they're like on cloud nine right now. So it's really good to see all of that.
तुमको कितनी मालाएं पहनाई गई?
Sir, quite a bit. Like people are really happy, so they're like putting garlands in my neck and then presenting me with bouquets and also.
So that I think is like one of the first initiations of कि भाई, how do you? I think life in service ka that's a very good initiation because once you get into service now, whenever you go for a new posting, this thing will happen again.
Yes, sir. Like it's a very new experience for like someone like me who has never worked before, and
Hmm.
this is my first time clearing this exam and getting into the services. So it's like a totally new kind of life opened up in front of me. So
Right.
I'm like enjoying it right now.
So Vaishnavi, can you give us a little bit about your background कि भाई आप कहाँ से belong करते हैं, schooling कहाँ से करी, and then UPSC की journey आपकी कैसे रही?
Yeah, sure, sir. So, sir, I'm basically a native of Gaya, Bihar, but I was born and brought up in Jharkhand.
Hmm.
And since my father has a transferable job, so currently he's posted in Singrauli, Madhya Pradesh.
Hmm.
So I'm living there currently, and I have done my initial schooling from Army Public School, Ramgarh Cant,
Hmm.
and then I did my 11th, 12th from JVM Shamli, Ranchi. And so after that, I came to Delhi University to pursue my graduations. And I have done my graduation from Ramjas College in history.
So like you've
And
always been a good student, sort of.
yes, sir. So currently, I'm also pursuing law at the Campus Law Center, Delhi University. I'm a first year law student.
So are you going to complete that law degree now?
Sir, I am still pondering over a lot of these questions, Abhi, ki, what is like going to. I'll try to do that, but
Hmm.
sir, I'll have to see if it like manages with my routine and all.
Right. So Vaishnavi, while we were talking, you said कि भाई in your first attempt, आपने you did not clear prelims by a wide margin, and then in the second attempt you cleared it by a wide margin. So
Yes.
what changed between the two attempts? मतलब what did you realize कि भाई गलत कर रहे हो and क्या चीजें आपने सही करी?
Sir, in my first attempt, I could not clear prelims by a margin of around 14 to 16 marks, which is considered to be quite big margin because people they miss prelims by like 1, 2 marks also.
People miss
And
prelims by 50 marks also, but okay.
yes, sir. So, sir, I believe that in my first attempt, although I did put in some amount of hard work, but I think that I was a little directionless and I did
Hmm.
not had the right guidance. So, I put in the hours, but I was more focused on current affairs. I did not do the static part that well. So, all of that did not actually work in my favor,
Hmm.
and like I was not very well versed with the static. Sir, when I gave my second attempt, this time I was very sure that I would limit my sources, at least like one book for every subject,
Hmm.
and I'll have my own notes for like most of the subjects. And then, sir, I also decided to focus more on the PYQs.
Hmm.
PYQs are definitely very important in this. So I did most of the PYQs like twice and
Hmm.
analyzed them properly. So thirdly, I also focused on giving tests and analyzing and revising those tests. I
Okay.
gave tests first attempt also, but I did not analyze and revise them. So then it becomes futile, because if you're just giving tests and not revising them,
Hmm.
it does not have any matter in the exam. And sir, fourthly, I believe that self-belief and trust is also something that is very important, because on the exam day, if you're not going to perform well, so the hard work, it actually does not convert. So, sir, these are some of
Absolutely.
the.
So I think I would just say that number four पे जो आपने बोला self belief, that should come to number one because it all flows from self belief. क्योंकि as
Definitely.
you said that exam day पे जाके I think this is the क्या बोलते हैं महाभारत में this is the whole issue with Karna, right? That when he
Yes,
requires his knowledge he won't have it because of the श्राप and all. तो like वो वाली चीज नहीं करनी है.
definitely.
Right. So, Vaishnavi, you mentioned quite a few interesting things over here, and I want to know more about it. You said that, for every subject, you made your own notes, and like you had one or two books for each subject. So, let's
Yes.
take a particular example. अब आपने जैसे, how did you approach geography?
Sir, if I look at geography, so I had my own handmade notes in my notebook for geography, and I
Which
used to
were your
revise.
resources were you that you were following? Books क्या कौन सी follow कर रहे थे?
So I followed class 11th and 12th NCERT for
Hmm.
geography. I did not go for GC Leong. Many
Hmm.
people suggest that
Hmm.
people should go for GC Leong, but I relied on the YouTube videos. I
Hmm.
made my own notes,
Hmm.
and then I went through the class 11th and 12th NCERTs. And so when I solved the question papers, I was able to
Hmm.
solve most of the questions. So I thought that it will suffice for me, and I do not need to expand my sources more. So I just stick to these and I revise them constantly and constantly. And sir, I also focused a lot on mapping,
Hmm.
especially in the Indian geography portion and the world geography.
तो अब जैसे लेट्स टेक अ पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक इसमें फॉर एग्जांपल क्लाइमेटोलॉजी है क्लाइमेटोलॉजी छोड़ो लेट्स से वाटर वाला जो हमारा चैप्टर है इन इंडिया फिजिकल एनवायरनमेंट
Yes, sir.
राइट तो वॉक मी थ्रू योर प्रोसेस ऑफ कि भाई इसके नोट्स कैसे बनाए हैं आपने क्या नोट्स बनाए हैं इसके
Sir, I don't exactly remember the notes that I
एनी
made,
ओके
but
एनी पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर दैट यू रिमेंबर व्हाट आई वांट इज कि भाई लेट्स से दैट देयर इज समबडी लाइक वैष्णवी who's just beginning her preparation and like she runs into this podcast and like she gets a sense of कि okay कि भाई geography में NCERTs is what I have to do NCERT के notes कैसे बनाए तो just pick up any chapter that you feel that you remember मतलब river वगैरह कोई जरूरत नहीं है but whatever chapter but we'd want a step by step कि अच्छा this is what you note this is what you discard
okay, sir. So, sir, I'll pick up the chapter of geomorphic processes. Okay.
hmm
So, if I talk about that chapter, so there are a few certain concepts in
hmm
in that chapter. So, sir, first, what I used to do was that because I did not had geography in my 11th, 12th, even though
hmm
I did my schooling in arts, but
hmm
I did not had geography as a subject. So, first, I used to go through a few YouTube videos.
hmm
There are many YouTube videos
plenty
available
of
of.
them yes
Yes, sir. So I used to go through a few videos, and when my concept used to get clear, then I used to go through that particular chapter in the
hmm
NCR, and I used to read them properly, line by line, then highlight them. And so then I used to make my own notes,
hmm
my notebook. So, sir, that way, when first my concept is clear, then only I used to make notes. And when I made those notes, those are the final notes. Then, when I have to study that chapter again, I'll not get into multiple sources. I'll just trust the one source that I have made. And so it used to be like a complete process.
Got it. So you used to start with videos, get your concept clarity, and like then move from there.
Yes, sir.
तो इस एंटायर जर्नी में कहीं आपने कोई एआई टूल्स का इस्तेमाल किया
Sir, I think that during my mains preparation and my interview preparation, AI tools helped a lot, like
हम्म
ChatGPT. It did not had much relevance in the prelims
प्रीलिम
phase.
स्टेज हम्म
Yes, sir. Because, sir, if we talk about AI tools, they are definitely helpful, but there are a lot of errors also. Like in
एब्सोल्युटली
every line, there is an error, and sir, even to be able to catch that error, you need to have a lot of prior knowledge.
या
Otherwise, you won't be able to catch those errors. See, they are like giving these wrong statements and all. So, sir,
हम्म
during my main preparation, I relied on AI tools a lot, especially for the introduction and the factual part and the data
हम्म
part. So I used to like, but with AI tools, there's one thing that we need to do is we need to like program them and frame the questions properly in order
हम्म
to get the right answers. And sir,
that's
interview part,
again
yeah, helped a
इंटरव्यू
lot.
पार्ट छोड़ो, पहले मुझे इसके बारे में थोड़ा ज्यादा बताओ कि हाउ व्हाट व्हेन यू से प्रोग्राम देम एंड फ्रेम प्रॉपर्ली, तो जस्ट वॉक अस थ्रू एन एग्जांपल ऑफ कि लेट्स टेक अ क्वेश्चन, मेंस 2025 का क्वेश्चन उठाए.
Sir, if I can also talk about this in general sense, like there's a topic of internal security
हम्म.
in GS paper 3. So I have to make notes on cyber security.
हम्म.
I have the basic concepts, the basic points and concepts. They are present in each and every book of like every coaching institute. So
हाँ.
you can get them anywhere. But what makes your answer different is
हम्म.
like some facts, figures, data, which may like interest the examiner that, oh,
हम्म.
this person has written something different. So what I used to do was that I used to go to ChatGPT and I used to tell it that give me some basic data on cybersecurity from some standard sources or like UN backed websites or something like that. And then it used to give me like different data sets. And then I
हम्म.
used to tell it that cross examine the data sets and tell me that these are 100% correct because I cannot take any risk. I have to code them in my answers.
Yeah.
And then it used to cross examine all the data. And
हम्म.
so then I used to like write it in my notebook or
एंड
wherever.
आई थिंक दैट्स अ लाइक प्रीटी सॉलिड वे टू गो अबाउट इट, कि पहले आपने बोला कि भाई ऑफिशियल सोर्सेज से मुझे डेटा निकाल के दो एंड देन क्रॉस वेरीफाई इट कि भाई मतलब ये सही है कि नहीं है.
So,
एंड इसमें आई थिंक इफ समबडी इज डूइंग इट तो दे कैन ऑल्सो डू कि भाई चैट जीपीटी का उठा के जेमिनाई में डाल के जेमिनाई को बोलो कि भाई इस पर गलती निकाल दे, एंड लाइक आई थिंक दैट्स ऑल्सो गुड क्रॉस वेरिफिकेशन.
yes, sir.
राइट. तो देन इन योर एंटायर जर्नी वैष्णवी, वेयर डिड यू एनकाउंटर upscprep.com? कहीं पे कुछ हमने मदद करी हो तो.
Sir, I encountered UPSCprep.com for PYQ analysis. There are some PDFs which are available, so I used to rely on some of the material.
Hmm.
And so during the interview process, also I relied on your guidance a little bit.
So did it help in the interview phase?
Sir, definitely, sir. In the interview phase, these things help a lot. I had a DAF discussion session,
Hmm.
one on one. Sir, it actually helped me to enhance my DAF because I was a bit clueless about what to do in my DAF when I was like filling it for the first time,
Hmm.
how to do it properly, process by process. So I think that because in the interview, I think the first and foremost thing which you have to do correctly is the DAF filling session because
Hmm.
that decides the course of our interview. So, sir, if
Actually.
that goes wrong, then there's a high probability that we may mess up our interview. So, sir, there it helped me a lot.
Right. And PYQ वाले जो documents थे, तो मतलब what exact use did you make of them?
Sir, I basically use them to analyze the PYQs properly, look at the repetitions, the
Hmm.
questions which have been repeated, the extra explanation that we need after the answers,
Hmm.
that these are some of the extra facts. So, those came in handy actually.
Right. So overall, let's say, Vaishnavi, if you had to give some advice to somebody who's just starting preparation, कि भाई बिल्कुल एकदम फ्रेश है कॉलेज में, मतलब आई थिंक सेकंड ईयर थर्ड ईयर में है और जस्ट ग्रेजुएटेड कॉलेज एंड दे वांट टू स्टार्ट प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर यूपीएससी, तो व्हाट इज योर वन पीस ऑफ एडवाइस कि भाई सब कुछ छोड़ के बस ये बेसिक एक कर लोगे तो भी ठीक है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है.
So firstly, I would tell them to like sit and look at the UPSC syllabus.
हम्म.
Looking at the syllabus, the one PDF which is present on the UPSC website, like take things from original sources. So that's one
Absolutely.
thing. So secondly, I would tell them to get the printouts of the previous year question papers year wise again,
हम्म.
and then look at those questions at least for the past 10 years. And so if these two things are done properly,
हम्म.
then the person they get a lot of idea about what UPSC is all about because there is this mindset that UPSC asks everything and anything under the sun. But sir, that is actually not true. If we
Correct.
go through the syllabus and the PYQs, the question papers, we see that there is a pattern to things. There is some form of consistency, even though
हम्म.
prelims is like getting a bit uncertain, but still there is some consistency which is there in prelims. That's why people are able to clear it again and again because we see many people who are in the services and they are clearing the exam again. So, sir, I believe that these are the two things which people need to do on their own
हम्म.
and like not rely on external sources that I like go watch this video. You
हम्म.
sit, take your time, and you go through these things. It like hardly take a month and then make your decision about what you want to do.
तो आपने बहुत आसानी से ये बोल दिया कि इट विल हार्डली टेक अ मंथ, and that is, I think, what differentiates you from a lot of candidates, in which you are very patient. Would you say that you are a patient individual?
Sir, I believe that anyone who has cleared this exam, and
Hmm.
especially it is my second attempt, so we have to be patient. Like it has to be,
Hmm.
so like that. Otherwise, I think
And
UPSC rewards patience.
not necessarily, but yeah, patience is one of the qualities which is useful over here. And इसमें भी I think overall for new candidates, I think what you said is very correct कि आप बैठो और खुद से ये चीज करो, क्योंकि आज की डेट में आई फील देर इज another pandemic going on where people just don't want to do the work. They
So
are just like,
exactly, like
hmm,
there are so many tools available online. You just want a summary of everything. Like everything should be like spoon fed. So, sir, that is something which is not possible here.
hmm,
You have to understand it for yourself, and then you need to see that where you want to take your journey.
एब्सोल्युटली एंड यहाँ पे जो वो चीज होती है ना कि जैसे यू हैव टू डेवलप योर ओन इनसाइट अबाउट द एग्जाम, एंड वो वाली चीज कोई पकी पकाई खिचड़ी बना के आपको दे दे और आप पी जाओ और फिर उससे नहीं होता। तो जो आपने बोला बिल्कुल ही सही था कि भाई एक महीना बैठो, कहाँ जा रहे हो, क्या काम है, और यही तो कर रहे हो ना। तो वाई आर यू जस्ट लाइक ट्राइंग टू रन अवे फ्रॉम द एक्चुअल वर्क? क्योंकि आज की डेट में आई थिंक यूट्यूब ने भी एक नया फीचर निकाला हुआ है ना कि भाई यूट्यूब वीडियो के नीचे ही एक वो जेमिनाई वाला बटन आ जाता है, वो बोलता है वीडियो समराइज करके दे देगा।
Yes, sir. That's
एंड
there.
एंड आई एम जस्ट एट टाइम्स लाइक ब्लोन अवे बाय दैट फैक्ट कि मे बी शायद 10 मिनट का वीडियो है एंड वी डोंट इवन हैव द पेशेंस टू लुक एट दैट, और वो समरी को भी फिर हम दूसरा जीपीटी में डाल के बोलेंगे कि अच्छा इसको भी समराइज करके दे दे।
Yes, sir. Sir, I think it's better to put in 1 month of effort rather than wasting 2 years of your life. Sir, we can
Absolutely
see.
correct. Absolutely correct. Matlab, this is something that I constantly say that you trying to save hours, you end up wasting years.
Exactly, sir.
Right. So, Vaishnavi, if you had to say, what was the easiest part about this entire preparation journey for you?
So I would not say the easiest, but I feel that the most fun part for me
Hmm.
was the interview process, the this whole thing, because after that, I actually started enjoying reading newspapers in the day.
Hmm.
It became part of my life, and like we have to prepare for interview, so we can read like a lot of other books also, other than the basic textbooks which
Hmm.
are there. And we go to give mock interviews, we meet new people, we make interactions, friends. So, sir, that was the most fun part for me
And
throughout
if
the
you had to say, the most annoying or not so fun part during the entire journey, what would that have been?
sir, the time which we got between prelims and mains. So every year it used to be 3.5 months, but
Hmm.
this time it was 2.5 months. So, sir, I believe that that period was the most challenging part of my life. I have never studied like that in my entire life.
Hmm.
And like it was the most busiest I have ever been. Very challenging, so
And I
but
think,
definitely
या दैट
process.
इज करेक्ट बिकॉज वो 2.5 महीने में अब इतना स्पेस नहीं है आपके पास कि आपने कुछ छोड़ के चले गए और फिर आपने तैयारी वहां पे कर ली। बिकॉज आई थिंक
Exactly, sir.
यूपीएससी इज ऑल्सो ट्राइंग टू कंडेंस द एंटायर साइकिल इनटू अ सिंगल कैलेंडर ईयर। तो व्हाट दे विल डू, मे बी 1-2 साल बाद तक ये हो जाएगा दैट, मतलब नोटिफिकेशन विल कम एंड द फाइनल रिजल्ट विल ऑल्सो कम इन द सेम कैलेंडर ईयर। सो दे कॉन्स्टेंटली
Right.
ट्राइंग टू कंप्रेस द एग्जाम साइकिल, क्योंकि अभी होता क्या है कि भाई यू गिव द एग्जाम इन 25 बट यूल जॉइन द सर्विस इन 26,
Hmm.
राइट। तो वो बैचेस का वो एक गैप ईयर चलता रहता है। But chalo, anyhow, Vaishnavi, you also mentioned very nicely at the right moment that you read a lot of other books, right, which were not syllabus. So if you had to recommend one book, so what book would you recommend to people who are preparing, which is not syllabus?
Sir, there was this one hobby in my DAF, which was reading biographies and autobiographical literature, and I'm
Hmm.
really interested in that. So, one book, if I have to recommend to candidates, it would be Michelle Obama's Becoming.
Hmm.
Sir, it's a really good book about like how a person from a very like humble background, they can rise to like one of the highest posts in the country, or like whatever they want to do, just using the power of education and some self love and belief in yourself. So
Hmm.
that was something which really motivated me a lot.
Right, absolutely. And I think given that you're now going into service, I would also like to recommend another book to you. There's a very nice book by Anne Morrow Lindbergh. It's called, I think, Gift from the Sea. So the
Oh,
idea of this is Anne Morrow Lindbergh was one of the first female aviators. She was one of the first people to cross the Atlantic on a solo flight, and like she was a very well accomplished, aviator at that. So this is her meditation on what life has in store for women, and particularly women who are like in a career where they want to pursue that career, and they also want to have other parts of their life come up and have fulfilling experiences in those areas also. So I think once this is done, I'll ask you to send your address to me, and we'll send that book to you because I like gifting books.
sure, sir, definitely.
Right. So, Vaishnavi, I think we'll end the session here. I think it's been a very fruitful and fun discussion with you. Thank you for your time. And I really do wish you all the best for your next attempt.
Thank you so much, sir.
All the best.